Hello, my name is Bre Rice and welcome to my channel. Here we're going to talk about all things running, strength training, recovery, fueling, and just overall health. I'm here to answer one question. What is it going to take for a mid to back of the pack runner in her 30s with a husband, children, and a job and all that entails to achieve the elusive BQ? Is it even possible? Well, that's what we're here to find out on Bre Rice Runs. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Bre Rice Runs, and happy Boston Marathon weekend. I chose this weekend specifically because that is what this channel is going to be all about, is that elusive BQ. Again, my name is Bre Rice. I am a wife, a mother of two beautiful kids, ages nearly 3 and 5, and I'm a physician associate in women's health. So talking a little bit about my running history, I guess you could say it dates back over a decade. I didn't run in high school. I was not on the cross country team, which just came about as I was coming into high school. We didn't have one prior to that. And I just remember thinking, oh, are people actually going to sign up to just to run? That's the sport, just to run? Because at that point in my life, running was the punishment in the sports that I was playing. I can still recall with disdain to this day running suicides for all the turnovers that my team had made on a Christmas tournament. So no, I did not like running back in the day. However, after graduating, and then you move on past the sports you're playing, and as somebody that played sports, her entire life, I felt kind of lost. I had no channel to, put my competitiveness and need for physical exercise and a hobby. I really didn't have that. So I started running. I tried it anyway. I signed up for my first half marathon. I saw that everybody else was doing it. So I was like, well, can't be that bad. Maybe, they seem to be having fun. Well, it was not fun. I didn't know how to train. My training consisted of me jumping on a treadmill every 2 to 3 days and just trying to run as fast as I could for like 5 or 6 miles. Needless to say, that cycle was miserable. That race was miserable. And as soon as I crossed the finish line, I looked at my boyfriend, now husband, and said, I'm never doing that again. Well, I went on to sign up for like 3 or 4 more half marathons with the same outcome over the next probably 10 years. It wasn't until 2023 in that fall that I signed up for a race in Charleston in January that I really started to enjoy running. At that point in my life, I had 2 very small kids at home. I felt like I was kind of in a rut. I didn't really have anything that was for myself. I, anything that was just mine outside of my babies, and it was a struggle. I felt like I was dealing with a little bit of postpartum, and so I wanted to find something. And so I thought, well, let's just give running one more try. And I'm glad I did, because at that point, I really started to delve into videos, podcasts, articles about running and training, and I learned so much. I learned about the easy run and how that should be, 80% of your training. Well, I had never tried that before. And turns out, if you're not just going as fast as you absolutely can every single run, it's not so miserable. So I started to really enjoy it. And at that point, I thought that maybe it's something that I could do long term. And then I had to take a brief pause in early 2024 because I was having a surgery and then I had a 6-week recovery period. So I came back in summer of 2024. I had signed up for my very first marathon. That was in December of 2024. Looking back, didn't have a solid enough base to do that. Yes, I had about 6 months to train. Well, 5, 6 months to train, but it wasn't enough on little to no base. However, I did a half marathon between the point that I signed up for the marathon and the marathon, and it went really well. I had a PR that race, and it felt good. I PR'd my 5K for the turkey trot, and was just feeling really good. Well, The marathon itself was anything but a beautifully executed race. I kind of was already set up to fail with the stomach virus my daughter had gifted me 3 to 4 days prior to the race. So I wasn't really fueling properly, let alone carb loading the few days before. But also, I'll go ahead and own it. There were so many mistakes I made that day and that I learned from, which will be a whole video in itself. So, my very first marathon time was 4 hours and 53 minutes. So, at this point, I know half of my viewers are thinking, yikes, 4 hours and 53 minutes? That's a long way from a BQ. The other half is thinking, what the heck is a BQ? Well, a BQ is a Boston qualifying time. So, in order to run the Boston Marathon, the Super Bowl of the running community, you can do it in two ways. A charity bib, which means that you're going out raising a bunch of money for a specific charity, which is great. It is a big time commitment, not just your running, but also you're having to raise those funds. And I think it's an excellent way to get to Run Boston. There is a second way to do it that I think that what everybody kind of aims for is that qualifying time. And that's different depending on your age group. For my age group currently, the qualifying time is now 3 hours and 25 minutes after the adjustment that they released last year. So now everybody's on the same page. You're all thinking, how can somebody that ran a 4:53 marathon get that down to below a 3:25? Well, that's kind of the purpose of this podcast. We are going to explore my training, what I feel like I've learned along the way, what I think I can do better, look at my fueling, things that, I learn about that as well. And I'm constantly trying to consume more and more knowledge as far as my training goes. I'm also going to apply what I know and am constantly learning in my job as a physician associate in women's health. There is a chance that I may go on to go back to school for functional medicine, and I feel like that's a great, um, you know, adjunct to my training. So there, along the way, we're going to be documenting everything that I've learned and everything that is helping me to move the needle just a little bit every day. If that is something you feel like you might enjoy following, go ahead and hit like and subscribe and try to get these videos out to other runners like me, like you, that might be chasing the elusive BQ. I know when I first started running, and still to this day, I'm constantly looking for stories of people that started where I am and that did achieve the big goals. And they're kind of few and far between. You hear a lot about, somebody maybe ran their first marathon and 3:45, then they got their BQ, and then they went on to run under 3. You don't hear a whole lot about the everyday runners that are running, upwards, 4:30, 4:45, 5, maybe even over 5. And then they go on to achieve these big goals. And I really want to put a story like that out there, and I want to hear more from you as well. So go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Good luck, everybody, on Monday, and we'll see you next week.